Welcome to your Monday Morning Pearl. I'm Steve Keck. Today, we're going to continue our conversation on some management tricks that help you take your team to the next level. And today's management trick is manage up or manage out. Early on in my career, I managed teams that were totally beat down, ready to quit. Everybody thought I was coming to fire them. And I employed this management trick to get everyone moving in the right direction. No one today expects to work in a company more than 2 to 4 years. That means by the time they actually get good at their job, they're moving on to someone else and starting over. You really won't get the depth out of an employee who's invested a full decade into a particular role. It's just not expected anymore. And so you have to assume that someone needs to be managed up or they need to be managed out. When I applied this method with last week's trick, which was if you know something, someone else needs to learn it, you immediately begin to help someone understand what it takes to move up. And they also begin to demonstrate whether they actually are capable and willing and desire the process of moving forward. If they don't, they're most likely going to self-select and start to move out. Setting the stage for this with your team helps them understand that you have a very specific goal in mind for them, that they need to take on more responsibility from day one. Now, I've had plenty of employees who choose to stay in the role that they're currently in and really don't want to move up, and that was totally fine. We just needed to prove it. And once they proved that this was the right role for them and they wanted to stay engaged in that role and not take on further responsibilities, guess what? We helped them maximize that role, and we didn't put them through the pressure that they had to move up. But for those that did want that, it was an excellent on-ramp for them to engage with me and take on the responsibilities that I was throwing at them because I wanted them to learn something that I'd already known. But then we also have to look at those that managed out. The people I tended to have to manage out were those that tended to work independently, showed a lot of resistance to learning new things or doing the sales process in a new way. They consistently went back to their old habits that were probably not working in the first place, which is part of the reason I even showed up there to help turn the company around. So often I would actually help them off-ramp to a new opportunity where they might make a better fit. And another thing, when you're having to move someone out, it's this. They're going to move every 2 to 4 years anyway. They might be at their cycle where they're ready to go and try something new. And helping them get into that on-ramp to some other place might be the best thing they need right now. And often when I connected to someone who had left or had managed out, they found a place where they made better sense and they enjoyed it more than what they were doing at the current role with me. So you know what? Sometimes that's just the way it is if it's not a good fit. So don't panic. Don't think of it as very harsh. When it really comes down to it, you're giving them every opportunity to succeed either in the role they're in, if they can prove it, or in the roles that they can take on ahead of you as they move forward in their career. So this week, I want you to set the stage for you to set your team on a managed up or managed out process. What will it look like in your organization this week for you to start the process of making sure that everyone understands where you're going and what you want for their lives? Helping them get there will give them motivation and engagement to learn, listen, be open, and grow. And when they do that, you start to find out what your team is truly made of. And as always, if you need some guidance on how to set this up with your team, reach out to us. We love helping sales leaders figure out what it takes to get their teams to thrive. You can find us on our website or one of our social channels.